I'm going to remember to share my screen. All righty. So welcome everyone. I'm Cindy Myers from beananimallistener.com. Welcome. And tonight we're going to be talking about animals and emotions. And so let's get going with that. So a little bit about who I am for those of you who are new and may not know me. I have a background in engineering, aerospace engineering, a master's degree in counseling. I own an alpaca farm, and I'm a medical intuitive, which means that I'm mostly pick up things in my body. I'm an empath, so I pick up intuitive hits a lot in my body. I both sense emotional disturbances as well as physical issues. So some empaths experience one or the other. I experience both. One of the common questions I get asked is if I always been able to communicate with animals and have this intuitive sense, and I probably always had it. I just wasn't aware of it until I was older, and probably I started really noticing things in my 30s, and was actually started picking up more with humans than I did with animals in the beginning. And one of my earliest experiences when I was really intrigued and opening up to into this intuitive sense was with an animal. I did it with an eagle, and it was really an amazing experience. I was at a zoo actually, and I wanted to practice communicating and seeing if I could feel anything or sense anything with this eagle. And I didn't read anything about it before I went up to their enclosure area. And this eagle was looking right at me, and I intuitively, from my mind to its mind, asked if I could practice with it. And I heard in my head, nonsense, you already know how to do this, so it's not practice. You know, he was quite scolding about it all, which was a little unnerving. And those eyes that when an eagle looks right directly at you, it's quite piercing. um, but anyway, I said, yeah, I guess so, but I'd really still, I need more practice and validation. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to practice with you. And so it said fine. And so I was sending it energy and just kind of feeling in my body what was going on. And I just wanted doing, at that time I was studying a little Reiki. So I was doing a little Reiki energy on it. And all of a sudden my left shoulder got very achy, kind of like a bursitis, arthritic kind of an ache in my shoulder. And I just thought, I'm it's me. But I kept doing the energy. And then what I asked this eagle for some validation was when I was done with the energy work, if it had received it, if it would raise its wings out. And so then I would know that it heard me and accepted the energy. So when I was done doing the energy work, my arm was a little achy. It looked at me and it raised not two wings, but its right wing. And that was when I noticed that it didn't have a left wing. It had been amputated. And so then I read about it, and it had been injured in some accident of some sort. And so it was permanently there because it couldn't live out in the wild on its own. So, but it was the left wing, and that was my left shoulder. So that was my validation that it had two validations. It raised its wing, and then also made sense why my left shoulder was aching. And then when it had its one wing out, it was still staring directly at me, and it made the most piercing, loud call you ever did hear, and it just went right through me. It was just amazing. And so after that, I went, okay, I believe. This was not a coincidence. No, this was all real. And so after that, I was really more interested in honing this skill, and especially with animals. So that's kind of how I got my start. Before we get going into the main topic, if just a little housekeeping here, if your animal is experiencing a medical emergency, please call your vet. I don't diagnose illnesses, but what I do is help open up any blocked energy so that your pet's natural healing abilities can get to those areas that are uh, in 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 needing attention. So, and the other thing with aggressive issues, I do insist on working with a certified trainer. It's not usually enough just to clear trapped emotions. We need to also change the habit. And so I like to work with a certified trainer along with you in dealing with aggressive issues. Okay. So with that, let's get into the main topic of today, which is animals and emotions. And we want to realize that emotions really affect the mind, body, and spirit. And that's true for humans and our pets. And animals do have emotions. You'd be surprised there's still people out there that don't believe that, but they do. They just have a more limited vocabulary than most adults do. They're more equivalent to a young, a toddler. But if you've ever seen a toddler have a temper tantrum, you know that they have very strong emotions. So our pets can have very real, very strong emotions. And they work the same way they do in us. They're just chemicals that our body creates that is associated to an experience. And so those emotions can get broken down into their atomic level, which then equals energy. And so, and the other way to look at emotions too is that I kind of like to look at them like food, food calories. Uh, we have emotions all day and really all night too, because when we're dreaming, we're having emotional experiences as well. And so our body is constantly creating these chemicals that go into our body. Our activity level determines how much of those emotional calories we can burn off in a day, just like you can only burn off so many food calories in a day. So if you exceed the amount of food that you can burn off, those calories have to go somewhere. They get stuck in your body, right? Same is true with emotions. If you have too strong of an emotion, you have a really traumatic day, a really traumatic experience, or just an overly stressful day, a lot more emotions than what your body can burn off, those chemicals have to go somewhere, and those two get stuck in our body. And what that does is once they get stuck in our body, it creates kind of a distortion, or it acts kind of like a magnet where because there's a frequency associated to it. So once you get stuck, so anytime you have any other emotions that are similar to that one that might be in that neighborhood and wanting to get stuck, it's going to go right to that spot. So it can create quite a dam so your natural flowing ability, energy flowing, has to go around this ball of energy that's just lodged right there. And it can create both a habit and or a physical problem, because it's a it's a real thing in your body that's stuck in there. But it also, because it's related to emotion and our unconscious mind, it creates a habit. So for our pets, it can be, the habit can be created into having accidents in the house. It can be coming, uh, uh, you know, food aggressive. It could be all sorts of different things, or different food issues. Pets have food issues just like we do. I have a number of clients with animals, that especially rescue ones, that have eating disorders. They're either overeaters or very particular, so they're almost anorexic type, where they don't want to eat. So most of them are overeaters, I have to say. I have very few that are that persnickety type, but most get into overeating issues. And the clearing of the trapped emotions does indeed help with those issues. So when I release the trapped emotions, for behavioral issues, I like to replace it with, this is where the communication really comes in handy, is I like to communicate to the pet what we do want. So if they're having accidents in the house, then we want to tell them where the appropriate place is that we rather have them go, instead of in the house or outside the litter box. So that's kind of what I do, and that's how emotions work in our pets. But there's ways of listening to our pets besides it intuitively, like I do. You can sense a lot of what's going on with your pet. And so, for example, one of the common issues that we have with our pets and in ourselves is anxiety. So what would anxiety look like in your pet? So one way is to look at their body language, their ears, their tails, their eyes will communicate a lot of what their emotional experience is at that time. You know, pinned back, tail may be tucked under their, for the dog, it could be tucked under their legs. The swishing of the tail can also tell you, especially for cats, that can uh, tell you what their emotional state, as well as a dog. If a dog is happy, that's really obvious, right? Um, and then you can also sometimes sense what their energy field is. They're just pumping out a different energy. You can just kind of tell that they look like you don't feel good. There's a, and that quite often is from the eyes. The eyes don't lie. If they're not feeling good, animals are very, very good at hiding their illnesses because that's an instinctual thing. But their eyes usually tell you the truth of how they're feeling. They just kind of, they're half masked. They're not as bright. So I like to look at all my animals every day in the eye. I look at their body language. I know it's normal, and I make sure everybody has this normal look to them. That way, if I see anything that looks a little off, I know to keep an eye on that. You know, if they're not looking their normal behavior, their normal eye, you know, the look in their eye, their normal body posture, how they sit, how they lay down. They usually have favorite ways of laying down. If that looks different, then I kind of take note of it, because you're going to get very subtle signs that there's something wrong. And it's quite often through their body language that you may pick it up first. So that's something you all can do. And then, then what do you do? Well, that's a good time to call before it goes into crisis, and we can avert something that can turn into something bigger. And that's when removing some of the trapped emotions. It's amazing. I remove a few trapped emotions and they kind of, oh, that feels better. And off they go and they're back to themselves. Or by the next day, they can be back to themselves. So it's a very powerful thing to keep an eye on what your animal's body language is and the association to their emotional state. I haven't talked about the chakras for a while, so I thought I'd put that back in and go over it a little bit. This is another way of our animals and us humans. They also we have chakras. They have chakras. This is my alpaca chakra uh, uh, chart, but it's the same, whether it's a dog or a cat. And if you want to try it at home, this is something fun. Your pet usually likes it. I rub my hands together. This is something you can do. And I just kind of put my hand in these different spots on their bodies, if they like it. If not, I'll send it to them. And you can do that too. Because their energy field comes out of their bodies. You know, you talk about your personal space is about, they say it's your arm's length. It's not true. We can vary our personal space, but in general, even your pet, it has an energetic field outside it. And so if it doesn't like to be touched right away, you can still do energy. Just go about 2 feet away from it and just rub your hands together and just kind of picture white light coming out of your hands into their body. And in each of those areas, you may notice that there's a heat change, a temperature difference in some of them. You may pick up a little buzzing or a resistance in your hand. That's energy. So it's fun to try. Your pet likes it. What it does, if you go up all the different um, chakra points, And this one shows a lot of them, but just do the 8. If you go from the base of the tail and just kind of go up, up, up the spine to the top of the head, it balances their energy, and it just kind of feels good. It just keeps the energy flowing. And a lot of times they'll just stretch and yawn. Sometimes they get up and move. This is one thing I don't do unless if somebody's in crisis, is I don't force them. So if they get up and walk away and they don't want it, I say, okay. Because sometimes they're walking to help move the energy, and they'll come back. And other times they'll just say, I'm done. So I always listen to the pet, and if they're done, they're done. This is one area I don't force it in on them. Especially if it's just in general health and well-being of something I do. I wait till they really want it. So that's something you can do for your pet. That's kind of fun. And if they're not feeling well, it's something that you can do as well to help move their energy along if it's stuck. So with that, I'm going to open it up to some questions and all that, and demos. Like you to keep an eye on future events that I have. I've got some more webinars lined up. I've actually got them scheduled out for about 3 months right now. And so we got that. I have some local events coming up for those folks in the Eugene, Oregon area. That's where I live. I actually have one this Saturday. It's at the, oh gosh, I'll have to send you out an email because my brain just went. It's the metaphysical fair that you can look up, or if you email me, I'll send you the directions to it. But that's there. Also, I've started a Your Energy Healer Facebook group. It's a closed group, so you'll have to request to join it, answer a couple quick questions. That just kind of makes sure you're not a robot. And in that group, we cover a whole lot of different things for both human and animals. I sometimes throw up an animal of mine to let you practice on, and I give you feedback if you want to try communicating and learning to hone your stuff, your own intuition. It's really for you to learn or to work on your own intuition, hone your skills, ask questions, get validation, work with like-minded people to develop your intuition and just have very positive energy types around you. So that's that group, and I welcome you to join that and participate with us. And let's see. With that, you can, if you're interested in my services, you can go to my website, beananimallistener.com. And for animals, put the slash for animals, and that take you to the animal service pages. If and I have another section for humans. Also, I'm getting a new website coming out that's called yourenergyhealer.com. It's almost ready. We'll be going live with that hopefully in just a few days. Hopefully by next week that'll be ready to go out. And so there'll be some more information on there for different products and services that I'm getting ready to do for just because people don't realize I work a lot with humans. So we're expanding out into the world a little bit. Alrighty, so I welcome you to check out my website. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and we'll open it up to questions so you guys have plenty of time. I had a lot of pictures of animals, so I wanted to make sure I had lots of time for demos for you guys. Donna, so to clear the chakras, you run your hands down from the top to the bottom. You can go either direction. Sometimes I start at the bottom and I go up, and other times I'll start from the crown and go down. So it really doesn't matter. Most of the time, I'll correct that. If an animal is sick and not feeling well, I do start from the root chakra and go up. The root chakra, that first chakra is their tribal. Is the tribal will to live. Survival center is in that chakra, and so I really like to boost that one first. So I usually start there if an animal isn't feeling well. If it's just kind of in general health, then a lot of times I start from the crown because that's really kind of sacred and wonderful energy, and that comes in, that white light just pours in that way. So, Janet, were you talking about a structured course that one could take to increase our intuition? Uh, I have taught structured courses in developing your intuition, yes, and I'm looking at doing that again. Um, I also do one-on-one a lot, with a number of people, and that's very valuable as well. But if people are interested in a course, then the more people I get interested in, I'll definitely go ahead and can start one up. I got all the materials. It's just a matter of getting enough people interested in it to do it. So I would love to start that up. So great question. All right, let's look at the chats too. Michelle, my kitten Roy has not suckled on the blanket since you worked with him. Oh, good. Yeah. So Roy, if it's all right to talk about Michelle, Roy uh, was separated from his litter mates and his mama at a very, very, very young age. So he had an oral fixation and was sucking on a blanket a lot for soothing, but the hair was getting in its mouth, and we were concerned about that going into his digestive system. So we did some clearings. So that's wonderful feedback that he is doing better and not sucking on the blanket. And that was another example that we cleared the trapped emotion about the blanket, and we told him what was okay. And we brainstormed over other items, other toys that we could offer him, that was more appropriate and healthier for him to suck on. So I don't know if he's doing that or if he just doesn't need to do that. But I'm glad he's not. So other things then, so sometimes, we clear the trapped emotion. There's kind of like a threshold. I like to talk about think about a threshold, where I talked about that buildup of trapped emotions. We absorb some emotions and we can't burn them off, and they stay stuck in our body, and we may not notice them until they exceed this threshold. And if it exceeds this threshold, that's when we see a physical problem and or a behavioral issue. So when I clear stuff, we hopefully get it below that threshold, but it could just be right below the threshold. And then if it gets enough emotions that gets trapped, boom, it goes right back, and we'll see that behavior again. So what we want to do then is remove those trapped emotions and get it below the threshold, but our goal is to give it a little more padding below that threshold, get rid of some more of those trapped emotions, and so that it can handle some of those stressors without having the behavior keep popping right up. So if it's right below that threshold, it's just going to keep popping up, and it may go back down, then it's pop up until it gets enough, and then it just stays up above that threshold. So we want to get it below that threshold and then give us some more padding. So the way I've geared some of my packages, my services, is with this in mind, so that the starter package is we do a real thorough full 45 minutes of really working on the animal and understanding the issue, and then working to get it below that threshold. And then I have a follow-up 15-minute, so that if we're right below, we can get that padding. Okay, so if it comes back up, we work to get the more space, so that the behavior or the physical issue doesn't impact your pet. Let's see. Oh, Michelle, he doesn't suck on anything anymore. Oh, good. So in his case, he doesn't need even the other items that we suggested if he still needed to suck on something. So good. Getting rid of those trapped emotions. Animals are actually little, sometimes easier than us humans, where that is concerned. When we get rid of the behavior, a lot of times it stays away. They don't like to hang on to their baggage as much as we humans do. Renee, hi Cindy. I emailed a question to you about my cat Pika. She is 19 and walks around meowing, and I don't know why. Also, she sometimes does not use the litter box. Any help is appreciated. Yes, let me see if I can find that picture. You might have to help me. Let's see. I think this one was it. Was Pika. If not, I I had a whole bunch and I didn't have time to write their names down. Um, let me see. I'm going to share it. Is this Pika? And I don't know if you have. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Um, Renee, I don't know if you have voice capability. I'm going to try. Are you there, Renee?
Hi, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can hear you. Was that cat? Was the cat I shared? Was that Pika?
Yes, yes, that's
Okay.
her.
All right. So let me go back and share that again so everybody can see your beautiful kitty.
She's a Himalayan.
Yeah, there we go. Can you see her? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So you're quite. She's 19. Why don't you go tell us again what she's 19 and she's meowing?
Yeah, she walks around the condo. She kind of walks from one end to the other, and then she'll hang out in the bathroom for a while, and she'll just meow, like kind of constantly. Um, and sometimes I know she's hungry, so I'll feed her, but then she'll still do it. And I don't know why she's doing that. If it's because she's, getting older, if she's, um, I don't know, because she is getting older, if she's starting to like maybe transition a little bit out of her body and she's calling, to
Mm-hmm.
um, or if it's because her hearing and her eyesight are maybe not what they used to be. But I'm not sure if I'm sure there's a reason why she does it, and I don't know what it is. And then she does also not always use the litter box
Okay.
as well.
So let me. I don't. Well, let me tap into Pika and see what we can figure out if she can tell us anything. So give me a moment. Okay, the first thing I felt are her is in the lower back, and I would say that's probably kidney areas. Um, Let me just try clearing some stuff right away. Yes. Taken for granted is her emotion. A worry. I'm gonna worry. That's another emotion. So I'm clearing worry. Okay, I felt a little shift. Um, so and I'm closing my eyes because that's what she's wanting me to do, and it just helps me to lock in on her. Um, I do believe she's got some slight issues. So some of the meowing is a little confusion. Yes, both. Um, one ear is, I think, very compromised too for hearing, and the other one is somewhat. But I'm not sure how much she sees anymore. And so the meowing is some of the confusion. Right? She didn't. So yeah, some confusion. I'm going to release that too. So I think she's getting a little forgetful. Um, so some of the accidents are because she doesn't remember where the potty is.
Okay. A lot of times she'll go like right outside the box. So
Okay, so that's probably the kidney areas. When they go right outside the box, it's usually sometimes more of a physical issue. When they go out more in other parts of the house, quite often it's a general rule. It's not a universal rule, but I've just found most of them when they go in other parts of the house and inappropriate places, it's a behavioral issue. When it's really close to the litter box, it's quite often a physical problem. So that's probably the kidney thing that I'm feeling. Um, of course, there's some arthritis and some other stuff going on, so she's kind of achy, kind a little bit here and there. Um, she's still kind of plugging along though, so I don't feel like she's like imminently ready to cross over. Um, yeah. Sometimes when they're meowing like that, they can sometimes see other spirits. I'm not. I don't. No, I don't think that's what she's seeing so much right now. Um, it's more. I think it's just more of a confusion. Meow.
Okay.
Not sure what to do with herself. Kind of a meow.
Yeah, that's kind of how she acts, is like she doesn't know what to do with herself. Exactly.
Yeah. So hopefully the clearings help. The a lot of these clearings are great for our elder pets. Again, they got a lot of different issues. So with arthritis and stuff, it does help reduce the pain down, the discomfort level down, and just keeps their energy flowing so that they can enjoy their life. You know, we want to maximize their their how they feel, so that they feel as good as they can. We certainly not going to probably reverse the sight or the hearing issues, but if we can just help her feel as good as she can and not be in any discomfort, then that's a good thing. And I would watch those kidneys. It seemed like the left one was a little crabby there.
Okay. Is that something that I should have the vet take a look at her urine and see if there's
If she
anything they can
continues
do, or
if she continues potting outside the box, I would, yeah, I would definitely consider talking to your vet about it. But hopefully the clearing helped it. So just see. I don't feel like, no. Okay, it's not like she's in like you need to rush her to a doctor. Is not what I'm feeling. Of course, if you always have any questions, you should call your vet. But um, again, I would watch the potting outside the litter box. If she continues doing that more regularly, then I definitely would check her out, or do more clearings, a little more intensive clearings. This is just very superficial what I've done. So a full session, we would do a whole lot more.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any like end of life preferences or anything like that that you can tell me that would be good to know as she gets closer to that point?
Let me talk to her about that, because I did ask her a little bit about like if she was close to going, and it was no. Um, so um, she has a certain amount of pride, it feels like, and she doesn't want to be in so much pain, and she doesn't want to suffer. Uh, right now, she's managing things okay, and she's fine with how things are right at the moment. But if it gets to the point where, she's really can't maneuver about very well, or she really, I'm not even sure if the sight part is too bad. It's like if she can't find her way to the litter box anymore, that's too yucky. I don't like that. She said. But she's quite, she seems like she's, she has her pride. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. So if you said if she gets to the point to where she can't find her way to the litter box anymore, things like
Yeah,
that.
where she just can't maneuver about and find her way anymore, where she just is always confused because there's starting to be some confusion coming in. So if she gets to the point where she doesn't know which way's up, that kind of a thing, that she doesn't want that. That would be too stressful and unpleasant.
Okay, that's very helpful, and that makes perfect sense with what I'm seeing. So thank
Okay.
you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing your beautiful girl with us.
Sure.
Let's see, who else? Trish and Sophie. Yes, Sophie. We want to get to Sophie. Here's Sophie. And I don't know if, Trish, let's see if I can find you. Here you are. If you are able to talk. I don't know if you have voice capability on your computer. Hi, Trish, are you there?
Hi,
Hi, welcome.
thank you.
Let's see, I have Sophie here. I'm going to share Sophie so everybody can see this beautiful girl. There she is. Can you see her?
I can, thank you.
I love that picture.
I do too.
So tell us about Sophie.
So Sophie's going to be 11 next month. She has a mast cell tumor on her left front paw that we've been treating with ozone therapy at the vet,
Mhm.
and it seems to be shrinking. But I just want to know, I guess, how she tolerates it. She seems to be okay when she gets the treatment. It seems to be shrinking, but I'd just like to know a little bit more about how she's feeling, if she's uncomfortable or in pain.
And try and tap into Sophie. She said, "Oh, hi." A little bubbly personality. Mm. So she said sometimes her paw bothers her or hurts. But most of
Mhm.
the time, I can ignore it. Mostly, it'll feel weird. Um,
I feel like she thinks that it's like she doesn't like other people to look at it. And I can tell that sometimes that it does bother her because she'll shake her paw.
okay, yeah. So it kind of has like a almost like a burning sensation right now is what I'm feeling at times. Um, so it might be pressing on some nerves,
Okay.
um, which is and then it sometimes probably tingles, so it might and some things you can't feel your hand if you're sleeping on your hand or something. It gets all tingly,
Mm-hmm.
or it starts to burn when it starts to wake up. So I think that's what's going on is that mass sometimes presses on a nerve and then it goes to sleep and feels weird.
And I see her shaking her paw.
Yeah,
Um,
so it's probably trying to like, where did it go?
okay.
um, so let's clear some energy in there because there's definitely some uh, um blocked energy because of the mass. Um, yeah, okay. So let me clear a little bit there. Longing, longing. Clear that. helplessness. Hear that?
Hmm.
Lack of control. There's the shift I was looking for. That clearing. What I feel when I get enough of those trapped emotions removed, again, like that threshold, and we get it below that threshold, their body just kind of, oh, that feels so much better. And it just kind of relaxes, and their energetic system starts opening up, so the flow of energy starts moving where things were blocked. So I felt that shift, which is good. Let's ask her about going to the doctor. It's okay.
She goes every week. She also gets acupuncture.
Do they give her cookies?
Oh my gosh. They give her, yes, treats. As soon as she walks in, everybody just is so happy to see her.
Yeah. Was that part I like?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, she kind of feels like the star.
And that's exactly what it's like when she walks in there. She is the star. They
So
make her feel that way.
yeah. So I think that it, that's smart. That's a good vet that does that, so that it balances out any of the negatives that they might be doing. The acupuncture, yeah, it seems like um, kind of, it does help relax. I think that's a very good thing to do. But that between that and the ozone, that's probably really helping with the shrinking of the mass. I had a friend that had her dog also had it was in a different location. It was in the anal region, but between the two, well, she didn't do ozone, but it was acupuncture and homeopathy. And between the two, and energy work. Me, I did about a weekly energy work. So between the three things, we were able to shrink the mass down as well. So I think that will help. She just has a very sweet energy about her, and she seems very happy and enjoying life, and she's still wanting to live and working, and she's working with you to try and to get well. It's not
Hmm.
like she's giving up or anything. Her body and her attitude is still trying to make the most of every day, like a dog does. Today's a good day.
And she seems to be that way. What did you mean by she feels like a lack of control?
Well, when something isn't working right in your body, you feel a little out of control. So
Oh,
if
okay.
that thing goes in her paw doesn't work right, that's a lack of control.
All right, I see. And do you feel as though the ozone treatment at some point it will resolve this?
Oh, this is where I'm not. I'm not a good psychic in seeing the
Mhm.
future, and I'll be transparent that I'm not. At least not yet. I don't recognize tumors too well and masses. I see it as an energy blockage. I don't necessarily be able to identify it as a cancer. Uh,
Mhm.
so but I work with it no the same way I would any other blockage. Is to me, if we can remove as much trapped emotions that are related to that area, that the an animal's natural healing abilities will be maximized to go fight whatever is there.
Okay.
So to me, the way I work, it doesn't even matter. I'm going to clear as much junk out of the body and get their energy flowing to their optimum as best I can, given whatever disturbance is still there. And then sometimes it helps. It buys you more time. It gives them more quality of life. Um, does it resolve and fix cancers? Not always. But what it does is today we get a better day
Mhm.
or a more comfortable day until when I know when the energy work doesn't work anymore is when they say it's not, they'll tell us that nothing's helping.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. I wish I had better answers for future and stuff like that. That just doesn't, that isn't where my skill set is. Once in a blue moon, I see something in the future, but it's more in the here and now that I see things and what's going on in the body.
Mm-hmm. No, no, thank you very much. And I think that Sophie, you know, is very happy right now, and thank you for clearing some of that out.
Good, good. And I do help people with a lot in hospice situations with their pets, and I do caution them when an animal feels really rotten, and I'll check with them in the beginning. It's like, are you ready? Is today it? Do you want to cross over? And they'll just feel horrible, and they'll say, yeah, I'm done. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'll clear stuff, and then they'll say, oh, I feel better, but not today. So as soon as they feel better, then they're quite often ready to go, well, I think I can go another day or two or whatever, because they're feeling better. But if they're really feeling rotten, they typically do not have the same issue about crossing over as we humans do. They don't always have the same fear. So if their body isn't working, they usually go, yeah, I'm done. My body isn't working and nothing's going to work to get it better. So I'm ready. But if we can give them palliative care where they can feel good or feel better so that they can manage it. And they also compartmentalize a lot of times. Our dogs, especially our cats, compartmentalize pain differently than we do. And so they can tolerate an awful lot of discomfort compared to us most of the time, because they just perceive it differently than we do. It's kind of hard to explain.
Mm-hmm. No, that was good. Thank you.
But I don't feel like Sophie's anywhere is not near that. So
No, I don't either. I don't either. Every day seems to be a good day for Sophie.
I love that face. Thank you for sharing Sophie with us.
Okay, thank you, Cindy.
That's good.
We've got a little bit more time. Renee. Yes, the gray cat, Renee. Let me see if I can find you. Let me see if I can get you up, Renee. Let me see if I can find you. There you are. Are you there, Renee?
Yeah, that was the one that you did first.
Oh, I already got you. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. I have another cat if you're looking for more
Okay.
material.
I think we got somebody else that wanted some reading. Anne, you had sent somebody. That's who I was looking for, Anne. Hey, Anne, are you there? Let's see if I can unmute you. I don't know if you have voice capability, Anne. Let's see
I
you.
did.
Oh, there you are. Hey, Anne.
I accidentally unmuted myself. Now I'm okay. Jeez. So, can you hear me?
Let me see who we have here. Do you have a preference of one or the other?
Yeah, let's try the one I just brought in tonight. That's the what the heck is her name? Coda.
Okay, I think this is Coda. Let me, hang on. Is this Coda?
Yeah, that's Coda.
So you brought, you're fostering Coda?
We pulled her in from the Miami shelter. She was surrendered. The shelter thought she was pregnant, but she's not. I think her mammary glands are hanging real low and heavy. I think she was pulled from her babies. Maybe they're weanable or whatever. But anyway, so they pulled her from her babies and then surrendered her. She's about 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She's just been with me a couple hours.
Mm.
And I won't be fostering her permanently. But since she's right here, and it's always traumatic for those babies to be just out of shelters. I thought maybe we could sort of get a feel for how she's feeling.
Okay, well, sure. Let's try and clear some stuff. So she's with you temporarily, correct?
Yes.
And so are you assessing her to rehome her, or will she go to another foster place, or?
Probably to another foster place.
Okay, so she's just kind of a holding little area. So let's tap into her. So yeah, lots of confusion, anxiety, fear, abandonment. Oh boy, lots of stuff going on. So I just want to let her know she's safe. And let her know that she can trust you. Yeah, she's saying, I don't know what to do. So anytime a new dog comes in, they have to learn the new rules, right? I think the other dogs can help her with that, about learning potty stuff and where she doesn't even know where food is going to come from, or is there water, and everything is so new. So I definitely would, I think, is she good on the leash? Do you know?
Um, she seems to be rather pulley.
I would totally. Okay. I would still keep her on the leash, to kind of go around, even, like to go outside to go to the bathroom.
Too late. She's
Oh.
already been introduced to the backyard, and
Okay. Okay.
she's had her dinner, and she's drank and gone potty, and she's sleeping on, as you can see, she's on the couch right now.
Okay, good.
Me while we talk.
Um, she seems pretty smart.
I get that feeling too. Talking about it.
So she just, yeah, some of them want to get, I guess some fosters, this one just, she really wants to find a forever home. I guess they all do, but some of them are so anxiety proof, they don't trust any humans for a while, and it takes them a while to get adjusted. This one, I think she could get settled in fast, because she really, really wants a home. She wants somebody to love her. Um, she's a good people dog. I'm not sure. Yeah, she's got a big heart, and she just wants to love somebody and have somebody love her. And she's been disappointed.
Yeah. Can you pick up anything about the babies? Or is she just kind of past that at this point?
She said they took them too soon. So that's a little upsetting to her, but it's like out of her control. She doesn't know what to do about it, and she's kind of, hmm, she doesn't want to go back to where she was, but she does want to find some place where she's loved, where she really loved. Um, so I'm going to let her know that you're going to help her do that, and find people that will help her find that.
She's looking right in my eyes.
Hmm. Yeah, she's a really sweetheart. You can just feel that energy from her, and it's a shame. She's like this really good. She's a really good dog.
Yeah.
She doesn't have, despite all the stuff that's gone on, all this chaos and all these really traumatic things, for her to just kind of be able to manage it and still hang on to her sweetness is really quite amazing. Um,
These are wonderful things I can tell someone who's interested in adopting her. You know what I mean?
I think she'll be, well, she's already a couch potato, so she'd be good for somebody that just wants to hang out with her.
She's
But
only 3 years old. I have a feel. I wouldn't be surprised if once she starts feeling more secure, she's got tons of energy.
right, right. I was just gonna say she's probably gonna need some training and have that energy directed. But with some basic obedience, she's gonna be a really fantastic dog for somebody because she's really smart, which means that if it isn't directed, she'll find things to do. And right now she's just kind of in observant mode, but yeah, she's gonna settle in pretty fast, so watch out.
Okay.
That's why I was
That-
kind of saying you
that's
might want to have her on a leash, even though, yeah, she fine, but at times, right now she's good, but just when she settles in and learns the house rules, she might go, oh,
uh,
and get into more things if that energy isn't directed in a positive way.
okay.
Um, but it can easily be mitigated by just working her brain, giving her good stimulating toys, activities. But I would also teach her some boundaries. That's where the leash is really handy, and getting her to know that to listen to you. I
Okay.
love clicker training, and she'd be really great at clicker training, I think.
Trouble with clicker training is she's my 6th dog now in the house. So
Yeah, it's a little hard because they all want to participate, and it's hard to do one on take one when you have 5 others that want your attention too. It's time consuming,
well,
but
it's also when you clicker train, then everybody thinks you're talking to them.
well, you can make a different noise for each one.
That's true.
I use my tongue, and I actually I'll shoo the others outside, or like for the puppy I have now, I do most of his training out in the pasture when we're out by ourselves, and then the other
Yeah.
one's out, and I'm teaching Tesla a new trick so that she's getting still stimulated and time one-on-one time with her, and I can give them rock solid sits. And anyway, you could do it all 6 of them, and even if you get her just to do rock solid sits, she's listening to you, and I have all 6 of them sitting. Okay, that works. And that way, you can have fun teaching them as a group that way. Just get them all to sit and go one at a time. Boom, 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 boom. But I would get her. I would definitely get her some training.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, any other, I'm going to unshare so I can see the other part of the screen. Um, well, Sam had a comment for, I guess it was for Pika, when she had an elder cat, she meowed a lot too, and she said it was a thyroid issue. And she said that was common for senior cats. So another thing, if your kitty still meows a lot, or is going potty outside the litter box, might be something to ask your vet about. Donna, you had a question about it, my teaching classes on trapped emotions, removing emotional baggage, and healing topics. Yeah, I do that. That would be part of the intuition course that we talked about a second ago. If you guys would like that, I can look in and see where we can pull up my intuitive listening webinar. We kind of talk about doing those things and how to recognize when we're in that mindset, because a lot of times when our emotions are when we're being triggered, we actually go into our reactionary unconscious mindset, and we don't even realize it. We think we're quite aware of what we're doing, but in reality we're in a very reactionary mindset, and so the habit is taking us. We really aren't driving the boat. So in my intuitive listening courses that are the human side of that one, of these webinars, so I alternate usually. So the next one coming up is one of the intuitive listening webinars that is geared towards humans, and we'll be talking about that. So that's a good way to get introduced into the topics. And then I do a lot one-on-one, and sometimes that's even more effective, of course, because I can hone into your intuitive strength as opposed to being more generic about it. Because each of us, like I'm an empath, but somebody else could be a more clairaudient or clairvoyant, where you hear things or see stuff. So I can really work on your intuitive strength and helping you hone that as opposed to more generic. So, and yes, I can help you learn how to also release your own trapped emotions and save me for the ones that are really blocked and hard to get to. Alrighty, so with that, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you all for coming on tonight. I appreciate it, and look for your emails. We'll be having the next webinar in a couple weeks. And also, you might want to check out the Your Energy Healer Facebook group, if you do Facebook, and join that. That's another good place to learn more about the trapped emotions and removing stuff, because we talk about that, and I can give you hints there as well. And we cover a lot of different topics. We cover dream stuff in there. We cover all sorts of topics in that group. So I encourage you all to go there and check out my website, beananimallistener.com, for any of my services. What we do tonight are very superficial type ones. So if you feel like your pet might need a little bit more work, that's when we get into a lot more detail, and I can really focus in and hone in on them with you on the phone. That's how I work. I do animals at a distance and people at a distance. We just go over the phone. So with that, have a great evening, and we will see you soon. Good night, everyone.
Good night.